Hello, Alaska, and welcome to this edition of Picture Alaska. This is where you, our viewers, send in your photos and we get to feature them right here. So let's get to it. Ways to stay safe in the Great Land. Yeah, why is everybody piling up? Well, look at the trail. There is some moose there. So that's one way you want to be, just taking it slow and easy, give them plenty of space. But Burrell Thorne saw this scene and snapped a photo. Looks like people were trying to stay safe. Now let's get into some of these other photos. You got to look at this full screen. This is beautiful. Stebbins sunrise. Thank you to Candy Pete. The sky looks like it's on fire from that sunset, even that reflection in the clouds above. Check out the view of Denali from above Talkeetna. Kind of a cool shot. Thank you to Mara Harkins for sending that in. You can see, of course, Denali and 4 Acre. And then a little bit of the wing of the plane. They must have been taken off or even coming in for a landing out of Talkeetna. And speaking of planes, a beautiful shot out of John Gomes. Thank you for sending that one in. I'll venture to say it looks like a turbo beaver, but I could be wrong. Tordurio Mountain Lodge, that's kind of a cool shot there on final approach. Thank you, John. Now, these are some hardy souls that live in the hills and mountains above the Anchorage area. Doll sheep, Brenda Zelenak spotting this pair making their way up the hill, probably away from all the gawkers that were trying to take pictures of them. Well, Aurora and the stars, some of these scenes don't even look real, but can you imagine? That looks like a beautiful pastel winter painting. Thank you to Nick Marchuk. Send some great things from the interior. Check out Seward, looks great in the sunshine. Ron Thomas sending that in. Looks like there's some construction going on at Dockside too. So maybe you want to check that out come spring or summer. Another fiery sunset shot. This one from R. Lolly Morrow. Thank you, Lolly, for sending that in. She sends in some great shots of all sorts of weather events. And a nice, beautiful night in Anchorage. Thank you to Ben T for sending that one in. And as far as the Northern Lights, Trapper Creek, Kathleen, she stays up late or gets up early. And if I'm not mistaken, in the background there, on the top of that mountain, right in the center of that photo, almost looks like there's a lenticular cloud hanging over that. So you caught quite a few things in that image. Another look at the aurora from LL Fog, Aurora Nights. Luckily, not foggy. On this night, you could actually see everything that's going on. I just couldn't resist there. An auroral burst. It just looks like an explosion of aurora. Thank you to Matt Rustin for sending that one in. And another shot of the aurora, a green kind of look to the landscape, but you can kind of see that you caught the plane flying by too. Thank you, Jack. And as far as our viewer photos, cool shot of these clouds. We're going to call them stacked clouds, but you can see several layers there. And we had several viewers send us in very similar looking photos. So this is a couple from Julie Seifert. This one looks like after the sun rose, but this was during sunrise, it looks like, with that reflection and kind of that kind of peachy glow there. So thank you, Julie, for sending both of those. Very cool, out of Taslina again. North Pole, seeing that sunrise glow. Kevin Francesco getting us a good look at some of that beauty of winter. And I thought, is that the sun? No, it is the moon. But sometimes in winter, that moon can be awfully bright, casting shadows even. So JRJ, good job on that shot. And the aurora borealis, it's visible when we get the clouds clear enough and the aurora forecast cooperates, but that night it was over Palmer, and Tracy Try did manage to see that. So I want to thank everybody for sending in their photos. You can always do that to our news or our weather app. That's pretty easy, but you can also go on our website, look across the banner to this, the Submit Photos and Videos tab. You click there. It's pretty easy instructions. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Picture Alaska. I hope to see you again.